Howdy everyone. I haven't did a video since the event, so I'll do one now. I'm going to invite some people, so give me a few minutes. I don't know who just joined. Hi Holly, how are you? Thanks for joining. What's up Don Reddick? Thanks for joining. I just want to talk about the fatherless homes, because nobody will ever talk about that situation, and it's a very bad, serious situation in our country. And it's hard to, in the movement, it's hard to talk about it without starting an argument. And we can't have that no more. At least I can't. We should, we know that CPS are coming after you women, and we're standing up. We're standing up for you. But what I want is for the women to start standing up for the fatherless homes, because we need you. Let's see. I don't like talking on the camera too long by myself, but I am going to talk on this subject because we can't ever talk about it. It offends a lot of people. I invited some people. Please invite your friends list. And let's have a nice little discussion here about what the real problems are. What's up, Panko, my man? What's up, brother? How you doing? I'm going to come on here and talk about the fatherless homes. Before I get started, though, I want to make it very clear that I understand women are going through the same battle as the men are now. It's a shame, because we really need you good women to be standing up and talking about this fatherless home thing, because it's going to take good women to help the man out. Like it's going to take good men to help the women out with CPS. I think if we could really come to our senses on that alone, because it's not propaganda. It's not something that's just made up. It's fact. It's fact. Last I checked, when we started doing this, was right around 5 years ago. I'm going to grab my iPad here in a minute, and I'm going to look up some stuff, and I'm going to read it. But the last that I checked, it was 22 million children in America without a father. And that was 5 years ago. Now, since 5 years ago, we've came a long way, and women and men have started to come together and realize that it's not about a man or a woman, gender, anything. It's about a system. It's about a system. And until we can truly talk about what the system's really done to, really done to us, well, we can't beat it. It is torture. It's torture on all of us. And you really don't have to believe me on anything that I say, okay? Please, don't believe anything that I say. Don't believe it at all. Just do me a favor. Do me a serious favor. Go to Google, go wherever you, Firefox, whatever you do, whatever you use as your web browser. And heck, I just lost train of thought because I was reading. And you know, God, what was I going to say? That's terrible, Robert. My memory must be getting really bad because it was important. I'll think of it in a minute. But with everybody, hi Kimberly, hi Brenda, sorry. Hi Stacy, I just seen you. Hi Fran, hi Cynthia. And I don't know who else is in here, but if anybody would like to join, anybody could join. But if you can't, all you gotta do is go look on the computer, and search out kids without a father, with the effects of it. Go to the computer and search all that stuff out, and you'll see that with 22 million children without biological family or real fathers in their lives, that's an astronomical number to me. But here's what I was saying about the computer. I'm sorry, I can't believe I lost train of thought. I was telling you guys, don't believe me, okay? I was reading on these comments, and I probably shouldn't do that sometimes. Don't believe me at all, okay? Open up the Social Security Act in your space, in your search bar. Type in Social Security Act, Title 4D, and read it. In that Title 4D, it specifically says take the fathers away from the children. It specifically says it more than once. We can say, hey, crush Title 4D because it's funding all this stuff. It's funding all this stuff. Please crush it. Crush it. We shouldn't be crushing it because it's funding all this stuff. We should be crushing it because they wrote a law to take fathers out of children's lives. And they've done it for 30 years. They got away with it. And it takes both of us. It takes a woman, it takes a man, it takes grandmas, it takes grandpas, it takes aunts, uncles to raise children. And if you start looking up this fatherless homes, you'll start seeing the people can't see it now, right? Because they got this Title 4D pushed out to where they've took fathers away, so kids go to school. They don't even have to pledge allegiance no more. They can't pray no more. They can't talk about their religion anymore. Why? Why do you people all think that? You hear people all the time, these kids ain't going to be able to do nothing. They're not going to be able to do nothing. They know how to push buttons on phones. They know how to play Xbox controllers. They're not going to learn how to know how to do anything. And that's being said, but what people ain't really seeing is I would almost bet 8 out of 10 of those kids, because we do have some, mental illnesses going on in America sometimes, but 8 out of 10 of those kids, man, I keep losing train of thought because I wish people would quit typing, but, sorry, but I don't do these lives much, but God, I wish I could remember what I was going to say. Anyways, okay, here we go. We're seeing the effects of it. Children are out of control, right? Children are disobedient, right? You see children actually 12 years old, 14 years old, having to step up into dad's roles in the house. and don't hasn't been taught by a man, so don't even know the first thing about being a man. We got kids nowadays. I just watched Alicia Keys today on TV, okay? And they showed Alicia Keys on there she was on Twitter talking about her 4-year-old son didn't want to paint his fingernails because he was afraid of what people would say about him. And their concern is they didn't care that the little boy wanted to paint his nails. Their concern was who is going to talk bad about him, you know what I mean? And they wanted him to paint his nails. They wanted him to paint his nails and stuff. Which, to me, that's crazy. I mean, if you want a free spirit, have a free spirit, okay? But as a parent, and if you especially say that you believe in God, knowing that from the beginning of time, God created man and woman. So, it takes both parents to do all this, it really does. So, you go out in public, you see kids just screaming at their mom, running rampage, in the stores, not able to keep their kids under control, not anything. And when I see that, the first thing I think of is that child doesn't have a father in his life. Okay? And stepdads, I don't like you. I don't like you because I'm a real person. You're just not a real person. If you can go, leave your children, and go live with another person's children, and then call yourself stepdad, but you walked out of your children's lives to go be with a lady, love of your life, or whatever she may be, to her children, and say, hey, I'm a wonderful stepdad. No, you're not. You're a sissy. You won't say nothing. You're a sissy. You won't say nothing. You won't tell them mothers, hey, and I blame this on the guys. You won't tell them mothers, hey, you need to let that young man or that little princess girl you got there see their other half. They don't do that. They move in to have a place to stay so they won't have to suffer. Need, mind you, after they leave their children. Okay? Not all fathers are good. Not all fathers are good. I'll say it right now. But 22 million children without fathers in America, you tell me. That's not a made up number. I know, Joyce. It's very hard to, especially for me, okay, because I'm a father. I mean, I'm a real father, and I take pride in being a real father. But it's hard for me to be able to see my kids for 4 days a month. Okay? I get to see them for 4 days a month because it's court ordered. Yeah, right? And man, you guys are talking too much. But I appreciate it. I appreciate the comments. But yeah, 4 days a month from, that's something that 4 days a month is an automatic crime to me. Thank you, Joyce. God, I wish I would quit losing train of thought because I'm thinking about stuff I want to say, and then, but fatherless homes, in my eyes, and it's not speaking bad about you women. It's not speaking. Any of that. It's simply stating facts. That these are the problems that we're seeing in America because men can't protect their children because we are the protectors. And please, again, don't believe me. Open up Title 4D and actually read it for yourself. It specifically says in there more than one time to take fathers out of the children's lives. Says it. It's a policy, it's not a law. But they disguise it under the color of law. That's why Title 18, Section 242 is so important in our federal law. It's a disguise. So, hi Alan, what's up, Stephen? But we've lost a whole generation of children, in my eyes. If we don't do something very, 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 very quick, we're going to lose 2 generations of people, in my eyes. Because I can guarantee it that 22 million will grow to 34 million. It probably already has. And I appreciate every woman that has helped, that talks to me, that sometimes helps me get through my day. And I will talk to you about your CPS case all you want. I will talk to you about your divorce case all you want. I will listen. But I can't talk about fatherless homes without offending people. And I don't care. It's just the point. I don't care that I've took so many hours to maybe save someone's life or to maybe talk to someone over the phone because they're feeling down and just try to upbeat somebody's spirits, and spent numerous hours doing that. And I want to be able to talk about the fatherless homes. I want you women to start talking about the fatherless homes. If we have to talk about CPS constantly, day in, day out, day in, day out, we need to talk about fatherless homes. Because if you look up the statistics on that, okay, most of the women that's getting their children taken away from CPS is single mothers. That's no coincidence. It's not a coincidence at all. And I'm seriously, I want some other people to come on here. Panko, would you like to come on here? Anybody would anybody like to come on here, please? I want to hear your thoughts, because this is an accident. But to me, this is the main problem that we're facing in America today. I mean, it just is. And if I have to, if I have to talk about CPS every day, I should be allowed to talk about being a father. I should be able to talk about how I love being a father. I do it without single moms. Stephen is. I feel you're angry with it, but like I tell the good women that really stand behind me in this movement, is that there's a handful of you women, and then there's millions of these feminists on the other side that are actually destroying good women character, like the feminists destroyed good man character through the deadbeat dad. That's right, Stephen. That's right. And another question, another something from me too. Do you people realize that they're teaching kids sex education in 6th, 7th grade in school? Why are they even thinking about sex in 7th grade? What the hell is wrong with our country? Saying, oh, this little boy thinks he likes boys. Hang on a minute. He's 9 years old. He don't even know if he likes himself yet. So how does he know if he likes boys? And if we don't start standing up for this fatherless stuff that I'm talking about, really standing up, because I'm going to stand beside you women. I'm going to stand beside you women. All the way to the end, side by side, just like I promised. But in order for me to do that, you guys are going to have to start speaking about the fatherless homes. And I'm sincere about that. Because since we can't talk about the real issue in America, in my eyes, I mean, I can't respect this movement. I can't. If we're about truth, if we're about truthers, and we're about speaking truth, man, just really just want to be truthful. Well, we can't be truthful about CPS taking children from single mothers, because out of the Social Security Act, Title 4E says take the children away from mothers with state agencies. It says it. There is no argument with it. But I'm going to stand up with you because it says that. I'm going to stand right beside you because it says that. And all I can hope that is you women start really, really helping us fathers, knock this fatherless home thing down. I would like to see percentages go down drastically in the next year to just see some improvement. But it's not. It's not. You got... Did you know that for you to be... Let's see. How do I want to explain this? Okay. For you to really receive state agency incentives, is what I call them. If they're paying for your food stamps, if they're paying for your rent, if they're, they're incentives. If you're really doing that, I keep losing train of thought. You guys keep talking. Brian Lee, once again, you can say what you want to say. I see why the world's the way it is. And if we can't talk about fatherless homes, then I'm not talking about nothing else. Because, quite frankly, I'm tired of talking about everything else, especially CPS. I know they've destroyed your lives. But I've said it 100 million times that the judge, the administrator, signs the order. Fight CPS all you want. They're going to change their name. Keep fighting them. They're going to change their name. Don't go against the real person that's writing the orders, for God's sakes. Don't do that. That would be too freaking simple. They understand when you walk into that court, Title 4D says, take the father away. And that's what they go by. There's different incentives. Fran, I know what fatherless homes means. If you guys want to come on here and speak, I'll speak with you. Fatherless homes means God too. Why are they taking father away from everything? Can people not see that? I mean, am I the only strange one that just seems to see that? Brian, you want to be a truther, right? Yeah, thank you, Fran, for whatever you said to Brian. But everybody wants to be truthers, okay? And I'm sick of all this. I'm a truther. No, you're not a truther. You can't talk about fatherless homes. You're not a truther. Are you a truther? Tell me. I mean, come on here and tell me if you're a truther and you can't talk about the fatherless homes. The main crisis that we have in America. The main crisis that started 40 years ago that's got our country turned upside down. Boys don't know if they're boys. Girls don't know if they're girls. Hell, even Bruce Jenner don't know what the hell he is. He don't know. Don't know. I know that anybody that's written an order to the court, and the court orders it. I also know that women just go strictly by them guidelines too, and if you don't like that, go to the state guidelines book. It's just a true story, guys. I know you women had your kids took away. I know you did. But don't you think that since we started this some 5 years ago, and how much it's grown, don't you think they're going to try to balance the scales out? All right, Keith. Sounds good. Don't you think they're trying to balance the scales out because they've been caught? Because I do. I do. Just like if that's it's like, oh, right now we're up here, man. They're trying, and if we can't talk about it, folks, eventually they're going to get there, and then that's history. Yes, you have your opinion, Brian. And understand that your opinion ain't the only one that fucking matters here. And I have my opinion. So if you have to be butthurt and leave because you feel that your opinion is more stronger or whatever you have to do, hit exit stage left twice and hit exit stage your ass out the door 3 times. I don't care, bro. Don't care. I'm going to talk about the main problem. If men can't protect their children, from these people because the policy says so, then the children ain't being very protected. They're not. Why do you think CPS just walks up in your house and grabs your kids and rolls right down the road with them? They're not protected. And you actually have to be on welfare. That's where the single mother thing came in. Because you actually have to, you're supposed to be on welfare to collect out of Title 4D's monies and get their sweet little business programs and, alienate the father for 2 weeks because the court order says he can only see him every other weekend and maybe 4 hours on Wednesday. Brian, Bud, yeah, I don't care. Understand me clearly. I don't care what you think, Bud. I really don't. If I say something against what you say, you start crying instantly. So, I mean, there's exit stage left, there's exit stage right, there's exit stage to get your ass on out of here. I don't care. Because I'm going to start talking about the most important part of this. We are protectors, naturally. God made us that way. Everybody talks about, this is the evil system. Yeah, it's evil. It's evil. Yeah. But I have been getting in touch with some pretty good people. We are going to have another For the Children event next year. I hope it's so we can celebrate. But either way, we will be having it in September. And we will be at the Lincoln Memorial this September. And you never know. I might not pick September because I'm not going to give people a chance to try to do what they do and everything. So, but the fatherless homes things, I think I think a girl under the age of 14 is like 30 times more likely to get pregnant because their father ain't in their life. See it, Brian. See it, bud. So, I don't know. That's what I mean. Somebody comes on your page and you're trying to talk sensible, you're trying to talk facts. You're trying to talk about something that's very important. And then you got a guy that claims to be a leader of this movement. And, I'm just going to let it be that. I'll bring Keith on. Let Keith talk. I like Keith. It says it's adding you. You might have to turn your phone sideways though, bud. Hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Just on here trying to talk about a serious problem that we have in America, right now that nobody really wants to discuss.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's not just a serious problem in America.
I know.
It's a serious problem with the father, and as Francesca said, the mother. It's a serious problem of every man and woman getting back to the Father in heaven and the Mother Earth, getting back to our roots. And our roots start with a communion of that man and woman who are inspired by each other to come together and create through an inspiration in spirit
Right. Correct.
of another being from us. And that's the inherent power that we have if we would realize that. Because Francesca, I again refer to her comment about it's not just destroying the fathers. And as you mentioned, it's now CPS is coming in and taking children away from single mothers. It's a matter of taking children away from both mother and father.
Right.
And that's where I have no opinion. I have experience.
Right.
My family was torn apart because somebody else stepped in and removed both parents.
That's
And left 5 of us without either parent. And as I made a comment on one of your other videos, that has caused problems with me throughout my life and still causes me problems in my adult life, despite how everybody here sees me and how I try to project myself. And you can see it in the way I speak.
right.
I still have this furrow in my forehead from walking around like this all my life.
Right.
And not only do I have experience from being ripped out of my own parents' arms, and I hope you people comprehend how deep this gets in concern to my own experience and where I'm at today. Because not only was I ripped from both of my parents' arms, I've had both of my only children ripped from my arms in 2 different ways. And one, I can't give facts on it. I can only give the research that I've done since then and discern for myself that it is most likely from vaccinations. My son died at 6 months old from what they call SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. Now that's a pretty ridiculous name to call anything.
Right.
And then my daughter was ripped from me immediately after that, not once, but twice. So this is how deep it goes, because when my son died of SIDS, instead of knowing the facts that it was likely due to vaccinations, the mother to my children, whom I love dearly to this day, but is no longer with us, blamed his death on me because she herself was so confused. And so she spent the rest of her life trying to convince people that I was going to kidnap my own child, when in fact all I wanted to do was be a part of her life, which I have a right to.
Exactly.
But more importantly, and I urge people to comprehend this part, my child, these children, despite the fact that we live in this commercial world that says minors cannot contract, I don't give a rat's ass about any contract.
Exactly.
And that's what this system should be keeping track of.
Right.
Not some numbers on a ledger.
Right.
Because I realize today, looking back on it, and it's true, my son, when he died, even though he wasn't in a commercial system, that tombstone that sat on that flat ledge that they call a ledger, and the name on there isn't his. It's a commercial entity. And that's exactly what this system works towards. It's the only way it can live. It's the only way it has eternal life, is by putting that fictional name on a tombstone that will last for hundreds of years. While in the meantime, the name that was spoken will be forgotten.
Correct. Correct. You're a wise man, brother. I listen to you all the time, and I appreciate your wisdom, honestly, because some days when I have a bad day, I just come to Keith's page and listen to him talk. So because you can explain things very, very elegantly, in truth, without really hurting
Glory
people's
goes to him.
feelings. And that's a hard thing to do
Keith?
that we're in, because everybody gets their feelings so hurt. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not here to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm here to say, okay, if I'm a truther, then and we're trying to dismantle this thing, like you seen what we did in September, up in the Longworth building. And if I'm really a truther, I really want to talk about where this started, the real root of it. Okay, it started with fathers being the breadwinners. That's why they wrote the policy. Me and you both know that's why they wrote that policy, the 504B. So they would think the mother wouldn't be able to get a job if the parents got divorced. So then they would turn them into welfare cases. So once they're in the welfare, then they can start collecting all the monies. And that's what
Yeah.
I don't know. Some women don't understand that, because 6 years ago, Keith, I didn't read the 4E Act. I mean, I didn't read it. And then somebody started telling me about
My mother, my own mother,
it.
the one that looked at me when I was 40, 48, 49 years old, looked me in the eye and told me, Keith, the police are your authority. Now, this is an old woman that's stuck in the cognitive dissonance, and she will die in the cognitive dissonance. And like I said, she worked for the Social Security system. And I guarantee you, she probably never read the Social Security Act.
Never.
She probably never read that Title 40, 40, is it 42?
It's 42.
Health and welfare.
Yep.
Um,
42.
and the reason that I hope I can explain to people in simple terms what's happening is that, again, glory goes to him.
Right.
Come out of Babylon, quit babbling, and that means you have to untwist the words.
Right.
And so I explain to people, when you look at the book of Job in the Bible, it talks about this glorious man that followed God's ways in everything he did in life. And he was so successful in everything he did. He was successful in raising his crops. He was successful in raising his stock. He was successful in building his buildings. He was successful in expanding his property. He was successful in gathering a woman that loved and cherished him and trusted him and had faith in him and stood by his side, not behind him, not in front of him. And they went together, and with his multitude of seed and her ability to bring forth a nation of men, they did so. And upon the devil's destruction, this man still stood in his faith to his father, right, and his mother, and he symbolized it by kneeling to his mother while lifting his head to his father. That's right. And staying in that faith. And when he did this, the devil twisted his own name. And that's why we have jobs today, and we don't call them Jobs. Right. Right. And this employment that we go through, where we're told that we have to have a Social Security account in order to get a job. And then we fill out employment applications for Social Security under the Health and Welfare Program, is so that when you do, you sign over and you may as well say farewell. Bye-bye. Yeah. Yeah. So until you learn how to untwist these words and come out of her, Only then will you be able to learn how to speak in truth. And you won't have to worry about any of their documentation, because all you got to do is stand there and clarify the twisted words.
Right, right. Well,
Period. Plain and simple.
a lot of people don't understand too, and I had to learn a lot because I don't talk to people about it a lot, but they actually call it the English Sign Language. Okay, if you've ever heard of it referenced that way, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
ASL, American Sign Language.
Yes. So it's really everything that we're reading is sign language to a certain something, whatever they feel it may be worth, right? So what I use a lot is with people, and I talk to young kids all the time, and I say, hey, man, if I told you, man, I thought that was incredible, dude, you did that, man, that was incredible. I said, what would you think? What would you think about that? He'd say, man, I think it was incredible. I did great. And I said, no, it says you're not credible. That means you're not credible, you know? So
Yep.
it's they've tricked the people so much on hyphens. Hyphens is the what I've been reading here lately. Hyphens is really the correct way to write any kind of
Yeah.
paper. A hyphen in between each word.
Right. I try to explain to people very simple things about the way the English language is constructed, and it's using prefixes and suffixes. And the simplest way to look at that is, again, through etymology and looking at the root word. And the root word in defendant is fend. We have the right to fend for ourselves, and they have perverted it once by saying you are defended. And then they pervert it again by putting the suffix on it, saying it is an event that has already occurred. And so therefore you can't do anything about it. And that's why you're named as a defendant on the paper.
Right.
And then they expect you to be a representative. Excuse me, let me clarify this. Correct, I was sent. The root word, I was sent. And that root word being sent, I was pre-sent long before I was resent. And therefore I am not an additive. I am the original.
It's crazy when you start looking up how they have really tricked everybody. It really is. I mean, and people's like, these people are stupid. No, they're not stupid. They're geniuses because
No,
they've done.
yeah, they did it. Yeah, they wisely constructed it, because I'm telling you what, people, I'm an idiot. And an idiot only means that I'm a common man. But as a common man, I am far from stupid, as you can tell, I would hope.
Right.
But I'm 53 years old, and it took me this long to figure this shit out. Excuse my language.
That's the way it is. It's just like people don't understand television. Vision. So they're
Can the blind man see? Of course he can. He can see with his ears.
yeah. And people don't understand, and that's what I've been really kind of reading into here lately about the hyphens and how the hyphens are supposed to be where they're at, and really writing a real paper that could stand ground with these people and trying to figure that out, because just like
Yep.
everything else, everything's always thrown out. The appellate's always throwing stuff out because of 12B. They don't have the jurisdiction, and it goes back to the other court, and then they don't have jurisdiction because they're not an appellate court. And then why is that? Well, because nobody's got jurisdiction over it, and they just won't tell you. So
Exactly.
But yeah, it's I appreciate you coming on here, because I really don't like to talk a lot, but I just think that I've been getting a little aggravated lately because I try to help as so many people as I can. I'm gonna leave the gender out of it, and I talk about their real problems with them. Like, I know why
Right.
you're dealing with CPS. I mean, unless you've done something seriously wrong. Reason why you're dealing with CPS is because the kid's father called him on you. I know it's just that, the fathers walk out of court losing, you know, custody, like in a jail cell. I got custody, whatever you want. You know what I mean? Got custody of you, and they walk out of that, and they get 4 days a month, and then they're thinking, man, they're looking for anything they can possibly look on that woman, so they can call CPS because they think CPS is going to help them get their kids, get more times with their kids, and I admit that all day long. I'll talk about it all day long. But I want there's good women in this movement right now that it's they could help us, Keith. They could help us big time.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
like we
that's what
want
I
to
was.
help them, It's
That's what I was referring to earlier about. We got to come back together as father and mother. We have to cherish both sides, and this is the duality of the brain. We've got a matriarch and patriarch side of the brain, and as men, we practice more the patriarch, whereas the women practice more of the matriarch. And when we come to a balance in ourselves, we are able to meet together with that other half. And this is the specific intent of my name change to El Hotep Secondly Pero. El stands for the divine source within me, and that is the patriarch. The Hotep Secondly is peace between the two, which is the passionate side of each of us, whether we're matriarch or patriarch, coming together with the mind, whether it be matriarch, patriarch, so we have a good balance. And then Pero is the temple, the body, so that we can then carry our body correctly.
People, I'm on a live and they try to call me.
Oh,
It happens, right?
well, you'll be able to review this, but I'll go ahead and do it real quick here again. L stands for the spirit within me, the divine source of my spirit, which comes from the father and the mother, because they were both together, inspired to come together to reproduce, to procreate, to create something in their image and likeness. And then Hotep Secondly is the peace between the two. And that's the only way you have a good loving relationship, is peace between two. And this is a big problem in our society today. And again, it's because of the public indoctrination education system, being born in a military venue known as a hospital that coerces and threatens you to take your child if you don't sign certain documents. The medications and vaccinations that we take throughout life, instead of using Mother Earth and the natural elements to keep our bodies healthy, and comprehending that stuff through knowledge. And this is a major factor, is that people are throwing this knowledge away. They're hiding it. They're mutilating it, things like that, perverting it. And then Pero is that body that we're supposed to be healthy in. We're supposed to take care of our own health and welfare, our own health and well-being, the well-being.
Right.
Not the well past or the well future, but the well-being, the present, the now.
Right.
And that's what being stands for. I am a true live being.
Right.
And I am a creature in that being under his creation. And so El Hotep Secondly Pero is my choice. And it is what discerns myself. So when anybody, regardless of who they are, comes forth, particularly like CPS does, with these concerns, well, the father called and reported some concerns. Well, let's discern the truth then.
Right.
Because the truth of the fact is,
right.
And see, there's that every word, whether it be positive or negative, has something positive or negative against it. And in each of those instances, there is a lie and a truth to the lie. And then to the lie itself, there is a greater lie, just like as the truth itself has a greater truth.
Right.
And these are the different levels that we have to think about when we're talking about all these issues.
Right.
And when you come into peace within yourself, and this is a guarantee, I understand where you're coming from, brother, with your frustrations and everything. We all go through it, particularly myself. Like I said, it still causes problems in my adult life.
Right.
As I said, it comes through in my videos. You can see my anger. You can see the furrow in my head still. Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay. That's been a very big problem in my life, and particularly, it actually, in a sense, helped me in my last case, and that is my anger, because it used to be a day where I walked in these courts, and I wasn't very nice about it.
Right.
I was a total belligerent. I was ready to war. I was ready. If they would allowed me to have a gun in there, I might have fired it.
Right.
You know. Today I've come to a much better peace, and I know that anytime I walk into these courts, as much as I've learned, these guys cannot twist the word on me, because all I'm going to do is look at each and every word, and I'm going to ask for clarification.
Right.
Point of clarification, point of law here.
That's I drove my
I believe
judge nuts. I drove him nuts. I said,
yeah,
I don't understand. I need clarification, please. You know, because
yeah,
it's not law, and that's why I kept asking. This.
yeah.
You're,
So let's come to clarification here. In the English language, we're supposed to be able to come to a one-to-one, or in these courts, no matter what court it is, no matter what language they're using, we have a right to have a translator if we don't understand.
right.
And so in these common law courts here in America, even if you think English or think you know English, get an English major in there and ask them to clarify things for you. Okay, this word right here, this term, it's not a word. The root word is fend, and they put terms upon it, both a prefix and a suffix. And if we contract them off, so now we see we have terms and
Where you go? There you are.
oh, now we have now we see we have terms and conditions of contracts.
Right.
And that's this commercial venue. That's what they're doing. Contracts are twisted. Contracts are directly relative to merchants. Merchants. Mer stands for partial.
Yeah.
And they're only speaking partially. So let's clarify it. When they're speaking partially and they're leaving all these holes, there's a law called the law of continuity. And that means things have to be continuous in order for them to be true. You cannot draw a dot, another dot, another dot, another dot, another dot, another dot, and call that a circle, because it's not continuous. So when we fill in all of the facts by clarifications, now we have continuity.
Right. It's incredible. I watch. Sorry, these people just keep calling. But I watched a show on a guy talking. And he was actually really simplified what they were really doing as far as the commercial stuff. So he said you have currents. You're on a ship, and you got currents, and the currents is bringing you in. The currency. He was explaining that that's your currency, and on both sides of the banks, of the lake. That's how he explained they were dropping off the currency to the banks, and it was perfect.
Yep.
It was perfect explanation of how he explained it, and I was like, dude, just blew my mind, because he was so right. It's like, wow. I'll have to try to find
when I was
video. Good.
When I was younger, I did a little stint in prison because of the corruption and everything. Granted, I did commit a crime, but it should have only been like a 5th-degree theft. I ended up getting a 2nd-degree robbery charge, being sent to prison with a 10-year sentence. And I learned a lot in that. And I had determined that when I came out, I didn't want to work for somebody else. I wanted to start my own business.
Right.
And consequently, I had to work for somebody else to gain money so I could start my own business. But when I did, I started my own sales and marketing business. And when we speak of merchants, we speak of people that are selling their wares. And this is where merchants come from. They were selling their wares on the street, and they were only calling people in and giving them enough information to key in a sale. They wouldn't tell them where it was or where it was produced or anything. Oh, good product, good $5. Love you a long time. You know,
Love you long
well,
time.
what is a long time?
Right.
Yeah, well, that's cheap enough, but how long is a long time? Well, I learned in sales that most people say no, make them say no 3 times before you let them go. But my inherent honesty and knowledge that was pushing people, and I just wanted the easy sale.
Right.
If they weren't interested and they told me no, good, let them go, and I'd get a sale. And then the second thing I realized was, and this came on later, is that I was calling my salespeople my sales crew.
Right.
Where is your crew?
Where's your crew?
Where is your crew? It's on the ship.
Right.
And that ship is what flows in commerce between the banks.
Between the banks. It's it, man. So
I was captain of that ship and didn't even know it.
Unreal, right? Unreal.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's just and you know, I try to that guy because he just made it sound so realistic and exactly what it was. It's a flow. It's a flow of money. It's a currency. You know, the ship's coming in down banks on each side. You know, and it's he was right on. I couldn't believe how he explained it, and I was grateful to even be able to hear it. I don't even know. I'll try to look for it and find it again. I do that a lot. I watch a video and then I don't save it, and when I should, but yeah, I know that what you're saying is correct, because like Keith, you too, you'll stand up for these women in New York second. You know what I mean?
I'll stand up for anybody.
I know you will. I know.
Even the crooks.
Right.
Even the crooks, they're my brothers, and we are blameless.
Right.
But we have to know what the consequences are for operating the person against a man.
People don't understand that, though. The person versus the man. They don't.
Well, here, because I don't know who your audience is, but let me point it out to you in a couple different things. In the Uniform Commercial Code, we see a section that says the law is to be uniform throughout all jurisdictions. And that's said in plain English, so it's very easy to comprehend.
Right.
So, in the Uniform Commercial Code itself, there's a section at 3-402, subsection B, subpart 1. And it says that the authorized, here's a good term, representative, giving an unambiguous authorized signature on the instrument is not liable for the person named in the instrument. This is uniform with the Fourth Amendment, wherein it says that the people have the right to be secure in their person, properties, papers, and effects. Now, we know we are not the same as our
Well, I'm sorry, people. People keep calling in my phone. I don't know why they do that, but Keith, if you don't know Keith Little, please look him up. He's very smart, very intelligent guy, very down to earth guy. Um, Fran said something about what are we going to do with all the motherless homes. I don't know too many mothers that one is too many. Okay, let me rephrase this, because one is too many not to have a home, and but 22 million children without a father don't even equal up to that. So, and I know, me and Fran have this discussion all the time. It's really what's been bothering me, and that's the reason most men won't speak out on it. Hang on, let's bring him. Hang on, bring him back in for just a few minutes, and then I want to get off of here. Says it's adding you again, Keith. Okay, maybe I was trying to keep up, Fran. It's hard because people just keep commenting. I'm not used to doing these. I'm not used to doing these videos and reading through all these comments. And sorry that I, got, whatever happened with Brian Lee, because Brian Lee does some good stuff with his radio shows. Everybody does good stuff with their radio shows and stuff like that, and I'll give them credit for that. I appreciate the awareness that they try to bring. But if I'm going to be 100% truther in this, I'm going to talk about the fatherless situation, and I'm glad Candace Owens is starting to speak up about it. It's a major issue, and like I said, I'm not just talking about fathers like me. They're taking father out of everything, even the man upstairs. So, but I'm gonna start doing one of these every other day or so. Then I want people to come on and do an interview with me, and start talking about their stories, and um, people need to hear your stuff. So I'll start coming on live a little more, and I'm gonna start getting more aggressive. I got some good people that are joining with us now for the children, and the Punish for Protecting will be. It's pretty cool who's going to be joining us, so I'll release that later, and I'm sure they will be too. But I love each and every one of you, and as you can see, I don't talk with anger. I talk with concern, and I got mad at Brian a little bit because Brian is. I've tried to talk to Brian for a lot of years, and it's hard to. It's. I just can't do it no more. Let's just talk about truth, and if we can't talk about mom or dads, then we need to talk about the system only, and that's the judges. Because if we can't talk about a mother without men getting upset, or we can't talk about women without or man without women getting upset, what are we doing? The only other solution to that is we just be parents, and we try to fix this system, because it's not the parent that I'm fighting at all. I'm not fighting the parent. I'm fighting the system. So, Keith, um, you're a good man, brother. You're a good man. So thank you for joining us tonight. And I'm gonna start doing these videos more often. Because I'm gonna start having. I just noticed the men won't come out and speak, and a lot of them are stepdads, and they don't want to offend their significant other, and they can't speak, and men won't speak because if they got a girlfriend and they're having a hard time they can't see their kids, won't speak about it, because it makes women feel like they're downgrading. When we're not downgrading the women species. I'll grade extreme feminism any day of the week, though. I can guarantee it that. So, but thanks for listening to me, and we're gonna keep doing this, and we're gonna keep fighting, and everybody just get prepared for the children event next September. Please start preparing now. Have women have bake offs. See if you can get into the local what are them called, the vets centers. Let me think here. Ah, it's like a lodge, it's AMVETS. So, get in AMVETS, talk to the vets about how they're dealing with homelessness. Maybe have chili cook-offs or something, raise money to help your communities rent a bus to carry 120 people in a bus. So we have to do something this year. We have to do something this year. It has to be done this year. So, guys, keep fighting. Keep fighting in a peaceful manner. Uh, keep bringing awareness and just speak truth. And just speak truth. And if we can't speak about certain things, then please just use the word parents and understand that we're just parents trying to fix a system that's really screwed everybody in our family up. It's screwed everybody in our family up, no matter their gender, age. So, with that being said, I think I'm going to go watch a movie and enjoy the rest of my night. And I thank everyone for joining, and you guys have a good evening. And I hope you learned a lot from Keith. Keith is a very knowledgeable guy. So it was a pleasure having him on. You guys have a good evening.